My name is Rick Wilson. I'm with the California Geological Survey. I'm an engineering geologist, and I'm here to talk about the trailers for the new movie San Andreas. We thought it was interesting. You know, this is a movie that has a lot of special effects, and the action looks really intense and great and almost unbelievable. But we also need to understand that some of the activities that they're showing, the geologic villains, if you will, the earthquake and tsunami, are kind of unbelievable too. They're a little over the top and extreme. So the movie itself portrays a large earthquake on the San Andreas fault, as far as we can tell. And there's a lot of action around buildings falling down and crumbling, and the earth opening up into a huge chasm, and a really huge tsunami overtopping the Golden Gate Bridge and devastating San Francisco. And so these are three things that really don't happen during a normal earthquake and tsunami. We know that earthquakes and tsunamis can be really devastating because, you know, all you have to look at is the video coming out of Japan in 2011, or more recently what's happening in Nepal. They're not only devastating, they kill a lot of people or injure a lot of people, but it also takes a long time to recover for these communities. So those three things that I talked about, the buildings crumbling, it's really highly unlikely that buildings would crumble and collapse like they show in the movie, because California building codes are really stringent. They're made for, you know, all buildings to basically be survivable during these events. There may be a lot of damage to buildings, but them collapsing similar to as they show in the movie is probably very unlikely to happen. However, people in buildings can do some very, if they understand that those hazards exist, that earthquakes can happen, it's important for them to know what they should do. If they're in a tall building, they shouldn't go near the windows. They should stay away from the windows. If they feel the earthquake shake, and this is true for any building, it's more important to stay where you are, get down as fast as you can under something very solid, like a table, and hold on to that table, and if you can, cover your head and your neck with your arms to make sure that you know, you're protected in that respect. So duck, cover, and hold on is kind of the mantra that you have for earthquakes in any buildings. When it comes to earthquakes, the movie shows this huge chasm opening up during an earthquake. Well, this is not what happens on the San Andreas Fault. Basically, the San Andreas Fault is what we call a strike-slip fault, with one side moving to the north and the other side moving to the south. In millions of years, basically, what you'll see is Los Angeles and San Francisco may be adjacent to each other if that movement continues. But it doesn't open up into a big hole or a big chasm like it shows in the movie. As a matter of fact, if it did do that, we wouldn't have an earthquake. Also know what your geologic hazards are around you. It's really important to understand if there's an earthquake, if there's liquefaction or landslides that can happen. Go online, check out the official maps that are with the California Geological Survey or with the California Office of Emergency Services. There's a website called My Hazards, where you can actually type in your address and find out what your hazard is for different events, tsunamis and earthquakes and fires. So that's a really important thing to understand. First, understand the hazard, and then know what to do during the event. For the tsunami they show in the movie, they show a very large tsunami that is overtopping the Golden Gate Bridge and flooding into San Francisco. This just won't happen. The San Andreas Fault itself, because it moves side by side, doesn't cause large tsunamis. And we would never expect to see a large tsunami on the order of 200 feet or 300 feet hitting the California coast. The largest tsunamis that we would expect to see along the California coast is anywhere, especially from Central California and Southern California, anywhere from about 10 feet to 30 feet, which can be devastating if you're along the coast. But it clearly isn't as bad as they show in the movie itself. In our northern part of our state, north of Cape Mendocino, we have a very large tectonic plate, a different kind of setting. It's not called the San Andreas Fault, it's called the Cascadia Subduction Zone. And it's where one huge tectonic plate moves down under the other. When that happens, big earthquakes can happen, It uplifts the seafloor, and that can cause a very large tsunami about 50 to 60 feet high along that part of the coast. So in the northern part of the coast, we have a higher hazard than we have the rest of the state. But still, there are things you can do to prepare for tsunamis. If you live or you work or you visit an area where you think there may be a tsunami, especially the beach, go online and see if you're in one of these hazard areas. If a tsunami comes on shore, it could be about 10 to 15 minutes after the earthquake. So it's important you duck cover and hold on during the earthquake. But then if you're in one of these zones, go to high ground or go inland as far as you can in that 10 to 15 minutes right after the earthquake shaking stops. This could save your life. So go out and enjoy the movie. It has a lot of good special effects and it has a lot of action, and I think it'll be entertaining. However, also realize that a lot of the geologic hazards, the geologic villains they're showing in the event, the earthquake and tsunami, may be exaggerated. But it's important for you as a citizen in California to understand what that hazard is. Go online, learn about that hazard. Know what to do before, during, and after an earthquake or tsunami. Take people around you with you, because you may be the only one that knows this important information. So you could be the hero of your own movie, if you will.